7 characters who slept with Spider-Man. You probably know that Peter Parker is not a shy nerd. The guy is a catcher. He's been involved with heroines, anti-heroines, and normal girls too. And it is these Spider-Man relationships that we will talk about today, just as it says in the title. So leave your like because it's important. Subscribe to the channel, and let's get into the video. 1. Cindy Moon, better known as Silk. For those who don't know, the spider that ended up biting Peter Parker didn't just bite him the day in the laboratory excursion. Before that, the same spider that granted Peter's powers also bit Cindy Moon, a girl who was also there and ended up gaining the same powers as Peter acquired. It took a while for her to be introduced into the story, but it didn't take long for Cindy Moon, or Silk as she is called by her superhero name, to have a romantic affair with Peter. He even had some flings with her during work hours, and they were even caught red-handed by Cindy's roommate, creating a bit of an embarrassment situation, especially because they were using their powers and clinging to walls and stuff. This was one of the hottest relationships that the webhead has ever had. Just by looking at these images, you can tell how intense it was. Number 2. Bobby Morse, Harpy. Another quite peculiar case is with Bobby Morse, a superheroine who is a night vigilant and even a member of the Secret Avengers. She is better known as Harpy. Her affair with Spider-Man, despite everything, wasn't very long-lasting, but it lasted long enough to have a certain spark in the relationship between these two. Thinking that Spider-Man would let it slide? So much so that often when the relationship was still going on, Peter made sure to visit her during the nights, using the Spider-Man suit. It seems he does more than just vigilance for the neighborhood. Obviously, the comic would cut the scenes there, leaving us to imagine what happened every time Peter went to visit her. Obviously, it was just a talk, right? Their relationship unfortunately didn't work out as Peter didn't want to fully commit to it. Abuse. Nerds, here things get a little complicated and intense. I didn't want to bring this up this time, but I thought and figured you'd like to know, so check this out. In 1984, Marvel released a story to help prevent abuse, and this story included a young Peter Parker around the age of 12 and still before gaining powers. He met an older friend named Skip, and gradually, Skip gained Peter Parker's trust until he invited him to his house, where they were alone playing pool. Then Skip shows him a collection of magazines with things that weren't age appropriate for Peter. In the midst of this, Skip suggests to young Peter to imitate the things that were in the pages of that magazine with himself. Peter refuses, but it's told in the story that he was very afraid to run away from there, and the page ends, leaving it to the reader's imagination. Peter later tells Aunt May what happened, and she goes to the authorities. So young grasshoppers, don't trust strangers, keep an eye out, and tell everything to your guardians. Number 4. Mary Jane. How can we forget about Mary Jane? One of Peter Parker's greatest loves, both in the comics and in the movies, and even in the character animations. Many times in various universes and versions, Peter has had affairs with her. In some of them, he even got married and had children, twin daughters and all of that. She certainly was the girl Peter Parker lay with the most. After all, Peter Parker and Mary Jane's love story is known throughout all the multiverses. Number 5. Black Cat, Felicity Hardy. Now this is the most forbidden love affair of the friendly neighborhood guy. Black Cat, Marvel's anti-heroine. During his patrols around the city, Spider-Man ended up meeting Black Cat, and with her sensuality, she ended up attracting young Peter. Several times during the nights, they were together, he as Spider-Man and she as Black Cat. The only problem that didn't make the relationship last so long is that Felicity eventually caused a lot of trouble with the countless thefts, which consequently made Peter disconnect from her over time. Number 6. Gwen Stacy. We also can't forget about Peter's first true love, Gwen Stacy, right? Surely one of Peter's greatest passions, always making him reflect, even though he's married to Mary Jane in some Marvel Comics universes. Gwen not only knew that Peter was Spider-Man but also helped him when possible, always showing support in his work. Their relationship only ended because Green Goblin unfortunately collaborated with Gwen's death, which obviously devastated Peter. However, in other alternate universes where Gwen doesn't die, Peter and she even got married and have their arachnid honeymoon. Number 7. Black Widow. That's right, the classic S.H.I.E.L.D. spy Natasha Romanoff has been, or rather is a current lover of Peter Parker. But wait, there's an explanation for all this since probably many of you are thinking, what? How is that possible? Basically, this is explained for the following reason. Everything happens in a recent comic book arc, Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality, where the name of the issue already says a lot. This is all an alternate reality, so much so that, for you to understand, Peter doesn't wear his classic suit. He's 100% bodied to Venom, his symbiote. And in this world, incredibly, Natasha Romanoff is Black Cat. And when she appears, she makes it very clear the intimacy she has with Peter and also knows his real name and says they are lovers because Peter didn't remember the experiences he had in that life and who he knew. Everything was new to him. This was a different video. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe. Cheers! If you enjoyed this video, help me reach at least 1/3 of Mr. Beast's subscriber count. I know we can do it. There are so many nerds around here. So subscribe to the channel and hit the like button.